A New Hampshire Democrat who was heralded as the state's first black sheriff has been sentenced to prison for misusing taxpayer funds. Sheriff Mark Brave, the former rising star in the Democrat Party, had previously said fellow Democrats who investigated his crimes were racists and that his term in office was rife with inequities. Former Strafford County Sheriff Mark Brave was convicted of spending nearly $20,000 in public money on personal travel with multiple women, then lying to investigators. Brave, a Democrat, was elected in 2020 during the post-George Floyd and Black Lives Matter wave that saw a surge in diversity-focused political appointments. Brave used his county credit card to fund multiple trips to destinations in Florida, Baltimore, and Maryland for getaways with various women, with at least some of the trysts happening while Brave was married. He attempted to conceal his misuse of funds by attributing the travel to fictional business meetings and training sessions. He also lied to investigators and a grand jury. Some of his lies were exposed by hotel lobby security cameras that captured him in the company of women on trips where he claimed to have been traveling alone. Brave's misconduct started to unravel when an audit prompted an inquiry into JetBlue tickets purchased for a 2022 trip to Fort Lauderdale. Not content to merely steal public money, Brave opted for JetBlue's pricey Even More package, with the pair of tickets costing over $1,600. Defending the expenditure, Brave said he needed the extra room because he's over 6 feet tall, and claimed he'd traveled with a well-built, muscular deputy. Investigators found, however, that he was traveling with a female employee. In another comical instance in which he was caught in a lie about a supposed business trip with a colleague, County Administrator Raymond Bauer asked Brave why the hotel room only had a single king bed. There was a slight pause, and he said, the other person slept on the couch, Bauer said in an affidavit. He also lied about spending money on business meals associated with meetings with the completely fictional New England Sheriff's Association. He also installed a friend, Frezenia Verez, in a newly created $80,000 job and jetted off to Florida with her for a non-existent consultation with a law enforcement agency. In one of his many lies to a grand jury, Brave denied that he took another woman on a dinner cruise using his county credit card. When prosecutors took out a photo of Brave and the woman, he hilariously couldn't come up with her name. He said, quote, her name is, let me see. I forget which one this is. I've been dating a lot of people. Brave also traveled to Maryland to spend time with Kenesha Epps Schmidt, whom he'd met online. He tried papering over that embezzlement by attributing the trip to a Washington, D.C. meeting with Congressman Chris Pappas that never happened. Brave proceeded to cheat Epps Schmidt out of $2,300 she gave him to buy a car, which he never did. This article points out that the sentence was far lighter than the 7 to 14-year confinement that prosecutors had requested. Brave will technically be eligible for parole in 3.5 years, but the reality is that he can walk even sooner if he participates in certain prison programs. He must pay $18,900 in restitution to Strafford County. New Hampshire District Attorney General John Formella said in a statement, quote, his repeated lies, misuse of taxpayer funds, and abuse of office were not just criminal, they were a profound betrayal of the public trust and the oath he took to serve with integrity. They note that the judge's leniency was at odds with his characterization of Brave's conduct. Quote, the court has reviewed a record that has been unlike any other case that has come before it, mainly because of the continuation of the crimes that were being committed while the case was proceeding. The judge was apparently referring to Brave's lying to the grand jury, lying on his application for public defense by failing to disclose $1.5 million received on the sale of his home, violating his bail conditions by paying $52,000 to lease an apartment in Boston when he was mandated to remain in New Hampshire. He also traveled to Florida and Puerto Rico, lying to the judge saying he was living in Dover with his ex-wife and that he was out of money, and failing to disclose his purchase of a 1968 Porsche, though he posted videos and photos of the vehicle to social media. The judge cited Brave's repeated lies in announcing his sentence, saying, quote, "The court considers punishment, rehabilitation, and the terms in making this decision. In this case, the court reviewed the record, and even prior to you being charged, there was a continuation of crimes being committed while you were facing charges. You committed a fraud on taxpayers and on fellow county employees. You lied to cover your own deeds, continued to steal funds, then doubled down and lied to law enforcement, to a grand jury, to taxpayers. That's perjury. You posted on social media and kept digging a hole rather than stopping. Often the cover-up is worse than the crime." Again, they note here that Brave accused his fellow elected Stratford County Democrats of racism for pursuing an investigation into his actions, despite the overwhelming evidence of his wrongdoing. During the sentencing hearing, Brave told the judge that being elected sheriff was a dream come true for the one-time reserve police officer, but soon after his election, his marriage started to fall apart. He began a series of poor choices and used his county credit card to pay for his extramarital escapades. Quote, "I stand before you embarrassed and ashamed of my own conduct." But the judge told Brave that if the crimes before him on Monday were just about the money, it is likely he would not be going to prison. Brave lied to investigators who started looking at his suspicious purchases and out-of-state trips. He lied before a grand jury several times, and after he was charged in 2023 and placed on personal recognizance bail, Brave lied to the judge and prosecutors about his residence and finances in order to get a free public defender appointed to his case. Rather than accept his sentencing, however, Brave once again tried to delay the inevitable by telling the judge he needed an extra day to make arrangements for his daughter. And once again, it didn't work. The judge denied his request, saying, quote, "You should have planned for today," reminding Brave he had 90 days between his plea hearing in February and Monday's sentencing to get his life in order. Please leave a comment and tell me what you think about this latest update. If you could give this video a thumbs up, remember to click the like button, that's greatly appreciated, and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. I will follow up soon. Thanks again.